I went with Pat, with Mrs. LaBianca, into the bedroom. Do you want me to start from there, or from when
That's
we
fine.
get out of the car? Okay. And I had Mrs. LaBianca lay down on the bed, and I don't remember putting the pillowcase over her head, but I'm sure that I did. And wrapped a lamp cord around her, and she began struggling as she heard her husband dying in the living room. And when Mrs. LaBianca heard him dying, she came forward, and I was trying to hold her down, and Pat attempted to stab her, and she hit the collarbone and the knife bent. And I went out of the room, and I called for Tex. And Tex came into the room, and he killed her.
Still tough to listen to. They're still with me, appellate attorney Matthew Barhoma. Now, of course, that was from back in 1996. As a young reporter for Court TV, I was actually covering that back at that time. And, you know, it still sends chills when you hear the story, even the matter-of-fact way she's talking about it. But at the end of the day, Matthew, the governors just won't let her out. The parole boards on 5 different occasions have agreed to let her out. And whoever's the then sitting governor has basically said no. First Governor Brown and now Governor Newsom a couple of times. Your thoughts on what might be holding back the governors for to let this woman out at this point?
You know, Michael, I file for applications of commutations of sentence on behalf of my clients all the time. This one I to some extent really understand. Okay, you know, but multiple governors have come to the same conclusion, and you know, this is clemency power. Okay, there's a reason why there's this level of checks and balances between the Supreme Court, the governor, and the parole board, and ultimately here the governor is exercising his discretion. And I think that he's looking at the criteria, quite frankly. There may be public hysteria. She possibly poses, you know, a further threat. The way she describes her admiration for Manson maybe really hasn't changed. So there's a lot of, you know, twists and turns to this. And to some extent, I mean, you have multiple personnel coming to the same conclusion.
Yeah, you might be right, but let's take this, and since you're someone who has some experience with this, you do have a parole board that's looked at this woman. She's testified, she's talked to them, they've listened to it, they've seen the record. 5 different occasions, they felt that it's time for her to get out. Just some of the things they consider: her institutional behavior, which my understanding even back then was impeccable. Her incarceration length, she's been in there for I don't know how many years at this point. The crime severity, that's an issue, obviously. Criminal history, she really didn't have any. She was 19 at the time. Mental illness and remorse. Apparently, she's pretty remorseful. So parole boards, that's what they're considering, but yet governors, really with that, really what amounts to, and you correct me if I'm wrong, complete discretion, they're deciding that they don't think she should come out.
Absolutely, and not only that, I mean, Governor Newsom, you know, has put other commutations forward, and for every single one of them, there's a certain layer of backlash. So really, you know, I think the governor is really exercising his discretion here on this one, and it's unfortunate because she's gotten it 5 times, and believe me, getting past the parole board is not easy. They are very critical. They look at every aspect of this, and they pay close attention. So, you know, I sympathize with her because it's been a long journey for her.
Yeah, and speak to that. You know, that's great. I'm glad you, again, someone who has experience with this, just how difficult it is to get a parole board to let you out. Generally, you know, you've got to come in front of them quite a few times, and they need to hear specific things in order to let you out.
Yeah, and they could place specific criteria saying, you know, try again when you finalize specific kinds of classes or different kinds of programming. But ultimately, you know, they've ruled that she's gotten it. And, you know, I share in her frustration because I have other clients similarly situated. They've gotten the parole board to agree, and they're waiting on the governor. And the governor could take one decision or another, and that's his clemency power. It's exactly what he's allowed to do.
Yeah, it is a serious power. And at the end of the day, going back to something you said earlier, the previous governor, Brown, he basically said that he didn't think that she was ready to come out because she still gave too much credence and as you mentioned, still looked in high esteem at Manson. So he felt she wasn't ready to go out and still a threat to society. Anyway, we're going to move on now from that topic. Matthew, stand by. When we come back, I believe we do have Benjamin Crump. We're going to talk